over the course of, what is this, the 6th year of the Open coming up? 6th or 7th? I forget.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Around there.
Where have you seen like the most bang for people's bucks in terms of the actual performance, day of performance?
Okay.
Anything from like, make sure you do it with people who are better than you, like anything that you've seen that really moves the needle in any way, sort of day of, any kind of advice along those lines.
Everyone's a little bit different. So I can't say, pump up the, oh, I thought I turned that off. My bad. It's terrible. I can't say it's, a matter of pumping up the music real loud and, doing it with better people. Yep. Or everyone's going to thrive in different environments. Yep. I will say that structuring your week so it's set up the way that you want to, and training at an optimal time of day usually matters.
And that changes for everybody too, right?
Yeah. But it's also like, there's a lot of people that work out in the morning every single day. Mm-hmm. But if you give them a 10 in the morning, like the 5 a.m. class, right? The 5 a.m. class at your gym. If you give them they're used to that, but if you give them a 9 o'clock start, their central nervous system might be a little more awake. So it's not necessarily what you've done in the past. It's what's the optimal for you in terms of the time of day. And that kind of goes through a lot of those different external factors. There's certainly a number of different things that you can do to maximize as well, from, your mindset approach to the way you're setting your gym up, in terms of transitions and all the rest. Yep. I would say that, with all those little things, I would say the thing that moves the needle for people the most is before you start your first attempt at it. I'm going to give two things. Before you start
the first full go through.
So Friday morning when you're going through this thing, or Friday when you go through the first one.
Yep.
Do one round for real, but stop after one round. Mm-hmm. Time it and figure it out. So an example
figure out like what you should be aiming for.
Was that the right pace?
Gotcha.
So the first workout last year was burpees over the bar, the walking lunges, the pull-ups, and then the walking lunges again, right? There was burpees on one end and the chest bar pull-ups on the other end, a walking lunge between the two. The average time of those Thursday night performers, I forget who it was, but the games athletes that did that, they did phenomenal scores, right? And most of the people we're talking to are not going to beat those people, those games athletes. Yep. Their average split time, if you try and figure that out, was somewhere probably around the 49 to, let's call it 50 seconds. Well, when a lot of athletes go out for their first round of that workout, they get that first round done in 33 seconds. Yep. They're beating games athletes by 17 seconds.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
My suggestion is do a round, time it out, and figure out, are you starting way too fast? Yeah. There's this misconception that I got to make up time where I can make up time.
So like while I'm freshest is when I should go the fastest.
While I'm freshest, I got to go fast. Here's the deal: there's this exercise science thing called your lactic threshold. Your lactic threshold is your maximal sustainable pace. Every second that you spend above lactic threshold, you're going to have an exponential negative effect later on. So if you spend 10 seconds above lactic threshold in the first 5 minutes of the workout, that means in the second 5 minutes of the workout, you're going to have somewhere around 30 seconds slower. Add those two numbers together, find the difference between the two, and you have a 20-second slower workout than you should, because you went faster while you could.
Right.
So my suggestion is time out that first round. Take an educated guesstimation of what you think your score is going to be and see where that is relative to how fast you went. And then probably slow down that first round. An example I'll give that is Matt Fraser did 16.1.
Yep.
The year. 16.1 at our gym. He did it with Katrin, and we timed out his first round to figure out what it was. We knew he wanted to be somewhere around the 35 to 37 seconds per round. He did his first round practice as slow as he could and end up being about 30 seconds. Instead of him coming up and turning to me and being like, I can go faster. This is good. I'm going to kill this workout. I'm going to get first place in this. He turned to me and said, I got to figure out a way to go slower. So we figured out a way of where he could pace it out more. How can he go slower in the first two rounds? Not we have a chance to make up time here.
Right. Right. The other example that I love from that you talk about is Brooke Wells' double DT.
Yeah, the heavy DT.
Heavy DT a couple years ago.
So it's cool. The heavy DT versus now we have a reference point after me kind of working with her for a little bit. So 2 years ago at the games, she did the heavy DT, and her first round in that, it was 5 rounds. Mm-hmm. Her first round took 57 seconds. Well, her fourth round took 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Yeah. There's perfect 3 times longer to do the fourth round, the first round. That's an insane drop off. Yeah. That is she literally could have done every single rep, including the jerks as singles, and still finished it in under 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. She could have done singles and still had a sandwich. Mm-hmm. It's so slow, right? I wasn't working with her at the time, but I did meet with her. I talked to her a little bit about that. And this past year, she did, they did double DT, same amount of work essentially, same time domains. Mm-hmm. And she was able to, in a workout that didn't suit her as well, it was a lighter barbell, more stamina, more endurance, less strength. So theoretically, she should have done worse. Yep. But she paced it, tried to do the first round as slow as she could. If you watch it, it was on the games last weekend. Yep. She's not even on the radar for the first three rounds. The last round she moves from about 7th place in her heat up to 2nd, only got beat by Katrin and came in 2nd place overall. Mm-hmm. Where in the previous year, she came in 7th place overall. She moved up 5 places in a workout that didn't suit her as well because she paced it better.